Good day, the honorable reviewer and supervisors for this thesis proposal seminar. Ma'am Dr. Anda Radiatan Mardia M. Hum as my first supervisor. Ma'am Indri Anastasia SS MA MED as my second supervisors. Ma'am Dr. Sri Wahyuni SS M. Hum MA as my first reviewers. And Ma'am Lati SPD MCC as my second reviewer. Thank you for watching this video presentation of my thesis proposal. First of all, let me thank to God for the opportunity that has given to me so I can present my thesis proposal. Let me introduce myself. My name is Cristiana Pasaribu. I'm from the class of 2017. So my thesis proposal is about academic reading strategies used by EFL students. In this presentation, the contents that I will explain in this video presentation, it starts from introduction, review of related literature, and research methodology. So we've come to the first chapter of this proposal, the introduction or background of the research. So the problem of this research, the first problem is about academic reading. So multifaceted level of vocabulary and the length of the text make academic reading different from other types of reading. So academic reading activity is different from usual reading activity. As Lecky in 2001 stated that academic reading involves reading abroad and comprehensive text, which is an amalgamation of comprehensive information from various sources. The similar issue also discussed by Manbi and Suhyun in 1996. Reading academic material is a contemplative, critical, and multifaceted. Furthermore, at the university level, the student required to read an academic reading related to their study to support their success in learning. So, in university level, the student required to read an academic textbook as much as they can. The fact is, the higher of education taken by someone, the higher the demands of academic reading proficiency they should have. It is well stated by Garcia in 2000, Freeman in 2003, and Koda in 2005. Students required to expand their academic language and proficiency in addition to content area knowledge in order to succeed at tertiary education. So because of that, because the academic reading is different from usual reading activity, and because the vocabulary is really multifaceted, and the terms in academic reading is really different from usual reading. So from the usual reading, so students need to use a strategy to understand an academic reading materials efficiently, effectively, to resolve the potential uncertainties in academic reading activities. So because at the university, as texts become more complex, so academic reading strategy become necessary for the student to be more understand about the academic reading that they read. And also, success at the university level depends on the level of academic skill the student bring with them. Which one of the skill is reading skill. So students have to comprehend the theory and knowledge in the text to become the successful readers and learners at the university. But unfortunately, based on the unpublished preliminary research data from Mardia and Anastasia in 2020, students find it difficult to read an academic textbook. So because of that problem, the researcher wants to conduct a research with the research question. The first one is, what is strategies do EFL students use to comprehend academic reading? And the second is, what is the most dominant academic reading strategy used by EFL student? For the objective of the research, the first one is to find out the strategies used by EFL student in academic reading, and the second to find out the most used reading strategy. And then we've come to the limitation of the research. So the researcher limits the research on this study. So the limits are only for academic reading, such as reading textbook, journal articles, class handout in printed or electronic form. And the researcher limits the problem only for 5th semester student of English Education Study Program at the University of Jambi. The researcher only limits the problem only for 5th semester student because the problem that was found by the unpublished preliminary research data by Mardia and Anastasia in 2020 found in the fourth semester student of English Education Study Program. So there are in the 5th semester student right now. For the significance of the research are divided into two significance for the theoretical and practical significance. For the theoretical, the first one is to giving description of the strategies used by EFL student for academic reading. The second is to giving description for teaching and learning, especially strategies for academic reading. For the practical significance, the first one is for the teacher. This research will be beneficial for teachers to know the possible reading strategies for academic reading. The second, for student. This research will increase student interest and motivation to be active in reading activity. The third, for future research. This research will be an input or reference for researchers to conduct new research about the same topic. That's all about the first chapter. We've come to the next chapter. It's about review of related literature. So in this chapter, the researcher divided into 3 parts. The first one is academic reading, the second is reading strategy, and the third is previous study. For the academic reading, the explanation or the description are taken from the explanation from Speck in 1993 and Sengupta in 2002 about academic reading. And in the academic reading, there are the explanation about the vocabulary, which are different as I mentioned before. So the explanation about the vocabulary in the academic reading taken from the Texas Education Agency in 2002. So the Texas Education Agency mentioned that in academic reading there contains specific and technical vocabulary. The same ideas about the vocabulary also described by Beck in 2013. So Beck came out with the 3-tiered framework to identify words in academic reading. So there are 3 levels in the content area reading or academic reading. The first one is high frequency basic vocabulary. The second is high utility academic vocabulary. And the third is low frequency domain specific words or vocabulary. And for the reading strategies, so the researcher take the explanation from the Mohtari and Seroy in 2002 about reading strategies. So Mohtari and Seroy mention about 3 strategies in academic reading. There are global reading strategy, problem solving strategy, and support reading strategy. So This strategy are the strategy used by the student. Let's start from the pre-reading activity, while reading activity, and the strategy used by the student involve the use of external reference or materials they taken while reading. For the previous study, let's start from the study from Akarsu and Harputulu in 2014 with the research entitled Perception of EFL Students Towards Academic Reading. This study, the participant of this study came from postgraduate EFL learners from different major. Meanwhile, the research that will be conducted by me, the participant will be the undergraduate EFL learners from English Education Study Program. And the data of the study were collected using a modified version of Mohtari and Seroy in 2002 about survey of reading strategies, which is the same version of Mohtari and Seroy. I use the same reading strategies by Mohtari and Seroy 2002. The result of this study explained that reading strategies in different gender, academic discipline, and age. The second previous study about the similar study is from Kai Hong Nam and Larkin Page in 2014, entitled Investigating Metacognitive Awareness and Reading Strategy Use of EFL Korean University Student. This research using the same collected using the modified version of Mohtari and Seroy in 2002 about survey of reading strategies. For the participant of this study were Korean university students in Korea who speak Korean as their first language. And this study only focused on differences in learning strategies explored by gender and academic classification. For the result of the Kai Hong Nam and Larkin Point 2014, it showed that for the differences among the gender, showed that there is no significant differences used between women and men in their reading strategy. And for the senior and junior level student, declared that higher strategy used. That's all about the second chapter. We've come to the next chapter. It's about research methodology. Okay. The design, the method of this research, the researcher will use qualitative research with a survey as an approach to investigate the data. As Creswell in 2012 stated that survey design in qualitative research is a method by which investigators study population samples with description of trends, numerical attitudes, opinion, or population characteristic. So the researcher used survey design to find out the most used reading strategies by the EFL student. For the research subject, the population of this research is the 5th semester student of English Education Study Program at the University of Jambi in academic year 2020 and 2021. This class consists of 3 classes, which are regular 1, regular 2, and regular 3, with the total number of students are about 87 students. For the sample, because the population is homogeneous, so the sample can be taken from any population and still produce a representative sample. So the researcher will only takes 2 classes, which are regular 1 and regular 2, with the total number of students is 58 students. For the technique of that data collection, so the questionnaire will be the instrument as an instrument to find out the research question of this research. So the questionnaire is a modified version from Mohtari and Seroy 2002 about survey of reading strategy. This survey contains 30 has 30 items, but I make it into 29 items of closed questionnaire. There will be several stages in the data collection. The first is the researcher will ask for permission to the participant for their willingness to be the participant of this study, and the second is the questionnaire will be distributed to the participant using social media WhatsApp, and the participant will fill out the questionnaire via online using Google Form application. And this is the specification of the questionnaire. For global reading strategy, the questionnaire start from number 1 until 14. For the problem reading strategy, it start from the number 15 until 20. And for the support reading strategy, start from number 21 until 29. So the total number of question is 29. And this is the scoring in the questionnaire. The statement in the questionnaire are scored based on Likert scale. It starts from number 1 until 5, following never, rarely, sometimes, usually, and always. For the reliability, so Arikunto in 2006 stated that reliability proves that the questionnaire can be used as a data collection instrument for the research if the items in the instrument are good. So the researcher used Cronbach Alpha by SPSS 25 version to determine the reliability of coefficient of the instrument, as what's shown in the slide. So the Cronbach Alpha based on the standardized item is 0.907, which included in the excellent reliability category. The regular tree with the 18 students that available and convenient have become the participant for this initial questionnaire experiment to check the reliability of the questionnaire. So the reliability of the questionnaire is excellent reliability. For technique of data analysis, the data from the questionnaire will be collected and analyzed using SPSS student version 25 to find out the number of frequencies, means, and percentages, and will be answered the research question about the reading strategies used and the most used reading strategy. I think that's all about the presentation of my thesis proposal. Thank you for the attention for this thesis proposal seminar. I hope that the reviewer and supervisors can give me the feedback and review. I will be glad if I can get the feedback and review from the supervisors and reviewers of this thesis proposal seminar. Thank you, and I hope everyone is healthy and in the best condition right now.